game time. The holidays will be over before you know it. You'll be dragging your Christmas tree to the garage or the curb, and when you come up for air, it'll be Iowa caucus time, January 15th. I would like to issue one warning as we enter this wonderful season. Don't get cocky. You cannot assume anything. Anything and everything can change on a dime. Right? You hear the old expression, there it is right there on the bottom of the screen. Whatever you think you know, you don't. It's not as much that as whatever you think you know, you can't. You can't possibly. Like, we all know what happened in the 2020 election, right? COVID, Black Lives Matter, riots in the streets, just total madness. The Hunter Biden laptop, all these surprises that no one could have possibly have seen coming. And they were all spun to hurt Trump, of course. Now you go back to 2016, there were just as many wacky out of nowhere surprises, but the ones in 2016 helped Trump. So what's going to happen this time? I have no idea. You can't possibly know, but it's going to be crazy. Let's go back to 2016, actually. This is worth reliving and making note of again. So 2016, of course, the left thought that it was a total joke that Trump was running. I look for any opportunity to play this clip. It's one of my favorite clips of all time. This is Ann Coulter on The Bill Maher Show.
Okay, here we are. Ann, which Republican candidate has the best chance of winning the general election?
Of the declared ones right now, Donald Trump.
Oh, that's gold. Never forget that moment. They thought he was a total joke. And then, of course, Hillary was going to make history. But she didn't. Because some things happened that no one would have expected 1 year out. Let me just pick three. Right. So first, Hillary is maybe the most unlikable person of all time. The other day, Kamala was asked why you're not 30 points ahead. Why is Biden-Harris not 30 points ahead? Oh, we have the clip here.
You have the current front runner for the GOP, Donald Trump, facing, 91 criminal charges?
I've lost count.
Yet, the Biden-Harris ticket is running neck and neck with Donald Trump. Why are you not 30 points ahead?
It's great. It reminded me of this moment. This is September, right before the 2016 election with Hillary.
Now, having said all this, why aren't I 50 points ahead, you might ask? Well, the choice for working families has never been clearer. I need your help to get Donald Trump's record out to everybody. Nobody should be fooled.
Gosh, that's an unbelievable clip. As unlikable as Kamala is, gosh, you play that with Hillary afterwards, like, geez. And then she doubled down on that, saying that half of Trump supporters are in a basket of deplorables. Remember that? And irredeemables.
You could put half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables. Right? The racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, Islamophobic, you name it. And unfortunately, there are people like that. And he has lifted them up.
Yeah, that's you, by the way, she's talking about. So Trump grabbed that and ran with it. Now, if you think that moment made a difference or not, maybe you don't. Those are just some examples of some wild, unforced errors from the Hillary team, stemming from her general unlikability and reinforcing her unlikability. Stuff like never stepping foot in Wisconsin. Right? It's just an example of everyone thought she was a shoo-in. So you never know what kind of unforced errors are going to happen in the last year and weeks of a campaign. Second unexpected thing that happened in 2016, and things like this are going to happen this year, I promise. Do you remember this video? This was at the September 11th memorial. Look at her. It's like she's passed out already. Oh my goodness. Do you remember when that broke? Unreal. So whatever happened, it was the September 11th memorial. We'll never know what really happened. But this played into the whole perception that Trump is the alpha strong man and he's the man for the job, right? We just got rid of or termed out beta Obama. And, what are you going to go with Hillary now as a follow-up to that? No, we need an alpha male leading the country. And here's what's many noteworthy things, but what's noteworthy about that clip is you shouldn't have ever seen that. You shouldn't have seen that moment. And you never would have known about it if there weren't one guy there who happened to be filming it at that very moment. Something like that's going to happen this year, there's no question. Something with Biden's health. We'll get some hidden camera behind the scenes revealing that makes his health problems undeniable. So there's going to be some major surprise like that surely in the next year. And then also go back to 2016. Remember I was going to say the laptop from hell. No, that was 2020. Do you remember the hard drive from hell? Let's back that up actually a little bit further. Do you remember Anthony Weiner? This is such an amazing course of events right here. He was a congressman from New York City, see him there. And he was just a horn dog who would sex underage girls. And one day he sent a Twitter direct message to a girl of himself. We're going to show it briefly, guys. Just boom, that's enough. But that wasn't a direct message. He pressed the wrong button and sent it to the world. Sent it to all of his Twitter followers. And then he said he was hacked and the whole thing. It was great. He ended up serving like 16 months in prison for sexting underage girls. His alias was Carlos Danger. Remember all that? Now, this started out as just like a funny, dumb congressman that no one's really ever heard of. But here's the thing. He was married to Uma Abedin. And you're like, oh, whatever. Uma Abedin was the vice chair of Hillary's 2016 campaign for president. And she was the deputy chief of staff to Clinton when she was Secretary of State. Why does that matter? After he was sexting the 15-year-old. This was after like a bunch of stuff came out and he was disgraced already, but then he kept doing it. It may have even been like the third or fourth time he kept doing it. Police seized his devices. And on one of those devices were emails that were connected to Hillary Clinton's private email hard drive controversy on his laptop. So this forced the FBI director, James Comey, to reopen the investigation into her emails. How close to the election? Remember this video? Remember this press conference? 11 days before the election. And Hillary says this is one of the reasons why she lost the election. It certainly didn't help. It fed into the narrative that she was crooked. Now, of course she was. But no, it was 11 days before the election. So I share that crazy, don't forget, Anthony Weiner, a no-name congressman, ended up, this happened all the way to 11 days before the election and possibly was the final blow of her campaign. Who knows what kind of dots will be connected in the days, weeks before this 2024 election. Things that happened maybe years ago that will come back around just in time. So it was a crazy lead up to 2016. I don't think we need to recap the lead up to 2020, do we? Trump, there's no question Trump was well on his way to an overwhelming victory before COVID, before ballots were mailed out to everyone. Do you remember the conspiracy theory that Trump was sabotaging the post office? This everyone forgets this one. There's this idea that Trump was collecting post office boxes in an effort to deny people their God-given right to a mail-in ballot. It was just madness leading up to 2020. Biden never left his basement and magically still won. My point is the real craziness hasn't even begun. Who knows what the final stretch will bring? But I'm here for it. Here's my analogy. This happens with everything. This happens, I could do cleaning the room or going to church or leaving the house anytime. It doesn't matter. Let's just do cleaning the house. You got to clean your house, right? The last 10% of work takes 90% of the time. It just is. It's the last odds and ends which take as long as the bulk of the work. Getting ready for church in the morning. We got 4 kids. We're getting the kids ready for church. Let's say it takes a half an hour to get the kids ready. Okay, so 90% of it takes a half an hour to do 90% of the work. The last 10% of just getting out the door is as long as the 90%. It's it takes another half an hour. Just that last 10% takes the same amount of time as the first 90%. The weirdest thing, I don't know. And it's the same with an election. The final 10% of an election is 90% of the madness. But one question is, will the surprises that come help Trump like they did in 2016 or hurt Trump like it did in 2020?